Hi trainers, today we're looking at the patch notes with exact numbers. I didn't do any of the findings for this patch, I've been so busy, but thank goodness for Cerebree.net for finding out the numbers for us. All I added here was just the percentages, using their numbers so we don't only have the flat value. I'm going to go through all of it in this video. There's also timestamps, and yeah, I'm Teets, I reach Master in Pokemon Unite, and my goal is to help you become the very best, like no one ever was. For the question of the day, what changes do you like the most? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, let's jump into it. The first one we have is Absol. So Night Slash, the cooldown has been decreased from 6 seconds to 5 seconds. It also has a decreased range of second attack as well. For Sucker Punch, the cooldown has been decreased from 7 seconds to 6 seconds, and they've also increased the duration of the hindrance. So a buff for Absol, I'm very happy to see it. I love playing Absol. Hopefully this will make Absol more viable in the higher competitive scene, but we'll just have to wait and see. Next is Zeraora. So the slash reduced the amount of attacks done, and it has increased damage per hit. Those are the numbers. They didn't have the previous numbers, but we had the new numbers for Zeraora. Spark also has a period between moves that have been increased, and increased amount of consecutive wild charge attacks while using Spark. So Spark just basically got a buff, I think. I think it's a buff. It has a reduced amount of attacks done, but it has increased damage per hit. So technically you get it off maybe faster, I'm not too sure, but it seems like a buff for Zeraora there. Wild charge, cooldown decreased from 11 seconds to 9 seconds, and reduced damage received when using this attack. So yeah, for Zeraora, it just seems like a buff. I'm very surprised with this because a lot of players have been complaining about discharge, which they haven't touched yet. And even though Zeraora isn't really seen in the really high competitive scene, I do think Zeraora might be a bit strong in lower ranks and the casual scene, which I think is just as important to balance around. So that's my thoughts on the Zeraora buff. Next we have Charizard. Fire Punch makes a target burned when hitting multiple opponents. Flamethrower increases movement speed after attacking. The cooldown has also been decreased from 7 seconds to 5.5 seconds. For Fire Blast, cooldown decreased from 8 seconds to 6.5 seconds. For its Unite move, now increases damage dealt by basic attacks and restores your health when damaging opponents. The cooldown has also been increased, so it's like a buff, but it also a nerf because it now takes longer to charge up this Unite move. Charizard had one of the shortest Unite move charge rates, so it's not surprising that this has came because it was like pretty powerful before, but now it's just longer. So yeah, it's like a buff and a nerf, but generally Charizard has received an overall buff. I'm very happy with this one. I actually really like Charizard, so it's good to see that it's being buffed again, and hopefully we'll see more Charizards in our games. Next we have Venusaur. Giga Drain increases the reduction of damage a user receives after use. So it's basically just a bit more tankier now, which is really good since Venusaur does lack in mobility. Petal Dance has received a buff as well, increases the total damage done. So my calculation here is a 23% increase. The cooldown has also been reduced from 11 seconds to 9 seconds and increases movement speed for longer. So a huge buff for Venusaur in my opinion. It makes it a bit more like survivability, like it's better survivability, because Venusaur does have trouble staying in fights or surviving fights. So I think this helps Venusaur survivability. Can't wait to see how it does in the future games. Next we have Cinderace. Pyro Ball increased the total damage done. So for my calculations, this is a 28% increase. The cooldown has been reduced as well from 7 seconds to 5 seconds. For Flame Charge, the cooldown has been reduced from 6 seconds to 5 seconds. Blazing Bicycle Kick bug fixes and Blaze bug fixes as well. They did nerf Cinderace a while ago. Seems like Cinderace is getting another buff now. 7 seconds to 5 seconds is incredibly short. So Pyro Ball isn't chosen as much as the other move, which is called Blaze Kick. Maybe they wanted to buff Pyro Ball because Blaze Kick just wasn't being picked up that much. So yeah, we have a buff for Cinderace. I'm definitely going to try this out because that cooldown is so incredibly short. Same goes for Flame Charge. They didn't buff the damage for it, but they did reduce the cooldown. Next up we have Talonflame. So Talonflame has a stat increase for its attack from 623 to 681, and that is an 8% increase. The cooldown has been reduced for Fly from 11 seconds to 9 seconds, now increased movement speed in the air as well. And for Flame Sweep, the Unite technique gauge, so I think the charge rate becomes faster or more easy to charge is how I'm taking it, but please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. But yeah, I think this is a huge buff for Talonflame. I do think it was needed. I played around with Talonflame a lot for the guide, and I like that they buffed it. So that's one of the starters that are now buffed. I think Talonflame needed this buff, so I'm happy to see it. Next we have Garchomp. Defense stat increase 420 to 472, so that is a 12% increase. Its special defense has also increased and it is a 15% increase. And rough skin adjusts activation delay. Happy to see that Garchomp has been buffed, so Garchomp has basically more survivability now. Very happy for it because I would like to see more Garchomp as well. I don't play Garchomp that often, but I have been reading like other people's thoughts about these buffs, and players who play Garchomp think that it's could be better. They would like to see, like, you know, Garchomp reach its power spike earlier. So if you're a Garchomp main, please let me know what you think about this buff. But it's nice to know that Garchomp is tankier, so it can survive a bit more in fights. Next we have Greninja. So Greninja has been taking up the high competitive scene, casual scene, every scene there is by storm. It's just so powerful, so they have nerfed Greninja. HP stat decrease from 5,400 to 5,152, that is a 5% decrease. The attack has also been decreased, and that is also 5%. Smokescreen, a bug has been fixed causing smokescreen appearing early, the plus version of it. Substitute, adjusted so targets hit substitute easier, so that should make it easier for Greninja to survive because targets will hit substitute, like your little doll. Water Shuriken, fixed bug that prevented the movement speed adjustment. Water Burst Shuriken, Unite technique gauge became more easy chargeable. So it seems that it charges faster now, just like Talonflame's Unite move. And Torrent has reduced attack boost, so that is Greninja's passive. The damage is now less. So overall, it is a nerf for Greninja. They have also fixed some bugs. The substitute is a bit of a buff actually, because now it's adjusted so targets will hit that easier and not Greninja. Overall, a nerf. But let's see how this changes Greninja. Let's see if Greninja is still meta through this nerf. Next we have Wigglytuff, who also is a Pokemon that's used in high competitive a lot, taking the scenes, every scene by storm. So for Wigglytuff, special attack stat decrease from 627. They don't have the new number yet, so we don't know. Pound, the damage has been lowered. I'm just going by the maximum damage number, and it's a 15% decrease. Dazzling Gleam, damage lowered as well, and it is 16% decrease. So a huge nerf to Wigglytuff's damage. Special attack also has been decreased as well, but it looks like it's still very tanky at least. It just can't deal that damage. Sing has also been nerfed. It's a bug fix, but honestly it's actually pretty much a nerf as well. So when Pokemon remain asleep, even if hit by an attack. So how sleep was supposed to work is that when you take damage, you will also wake up. Now you can't do that. You can be freed from sleep if you take damage, so Pokemon actually can't hit you while you're asleep. And for Cute Charm, activation gap reduce. So a huge, big, humongous nerf for Wigglytuff. Very, very big nerf for Wigglytuff. Next we have Cramorant. Basic boosted attack, damage increase, and that is by 21%. So 21% damage increase for its boosted basic attack. Surf, the damage has been lowered by 8% decrease. Dive, time between moves have been reduced, and for its Unite move the damage has been lowered and it's a 10% decrease per hit. So a nerf for Cramorant, but a buff to its boosted attack. And for Dive, it's been been buffed because the time between moves have been reduced, so you should dive faster. Looks like they're trying to encourage players to use Dive over Surf, but yeah, that is the overall changes for Cramorant. So it's pretty much a buff and a nerf. Next up we have Lucario. So Power Up Punch, damage to enemy Pokemon lowered, and it is a 5% decrease. So 5% is actually not an insane amount of a decrease. So I would say it's just a very small nerf to Power Up Punch. Close Combat. Now this move has been buffed, and it's actually by a lot. Close Combat is not the one that's really picked up. Usually people pick up the other move, not Close Combat, and that is Bone Rush. So Bone Rush outshines Close Combat, which is why I think they buffed it. It now has a 73% increase. A huge increase. It's huge. It's actually huge. Close Combat has also an increased amount of hits, and for the plus, it fixed a bug where damage didn't increase. So insane buff for Close Combat and not a very big nerf to Power Up Punch. I still think Lucario is still very much viable in my opinion, but we'll see how the meta goes. Now we have bug fixes, but stick with me here, the bug fixes are very important for some. So Alolan Ninetails for Blizzard alters how damage is dealt after hitting an obstacle, and for Snow Globe, fix the bug where damage wasn't increased against frozen opponent Pokemon. For Eldegoss, Cotton Guard, fix the bug with health recovery, Leaf Tornado, improved effect of this move. For Gardevoir, the basic attack boosted, fixed the bug with the damage. So for some of these Pokemon like Ninetales and Gardevoir, it seems like they're very buggy because they also had some bugs fixed in like 2 patches ago. It seems like they're going through bug fixes again. For Snorlax, now this is an actual nerf to Snorlax. Yawn, fix the bug where Pokemon remain asleep even if hit by an attack. So just the same thing as Wigglytuff, it is a bug fix, but it is still a nerf because now it's not as powerful. It just wasn't intended to be that way. For Gengar, it is a bug fix for Lick. I'm actually surprised with Gengar that they didn't fix the Dream Eater sleep. I think that's also bug too, but I'm not too sure, I have to check. I played so much Gengar and it's so fast I don't really pay attention, but Gengar also has a sleep in Dream Eater. I wonder if that actually is fixed already or not. Mr. Mime, for Barrier, when upgrading, boost the amount of stored barriers to maximum, and for Guard Swap, fix a bug related to swapping defenses. For Crustle, fix a bug with contact range. For Slowbro, fix a bug which caused special defense of opponent Pokemon to be lowered by basic attacks. And for Surf, fix a bug with range, I think it's meant to say, with the range. For Machamp, Barrage Blow, fix some bugs. Now, the biggest thing to me here is Blastoise, and that is a Rapid Spin. Fix a bug that caused movement speed of opponents to be lowered, and fix a bug that allowed you to use Hydro Pump and Water Spout at the same time as a basic attack during a spin. So that is not intended, which means that Blastoise's damage is lower than before now. So I would say that's a really big nerf to Rapid Spin on Blastoise, because now the movement speed of the enemy is not lowered, and also Water Spout, Hydro Pump, and Rapid Spin with basic attacks is not a thing anymore. So you actually can't do that while using those moves, it seems. So that's very interesting. Seems like Blastoise actually has been nerfed, but it wasn't actually a nerf, it was actually a bug fix. We'll see how it goes for Blastoise. I do still think Blastoise is very much usable, don't worry, but that has been changed with the damage. The damage is lower now. And the last change is for Regigigas. I can't say his name, I'm so sorry. Please teach me in the comments, I don't know. Regigigas creates a boost of scoring speed of ally after KO. Oh, that's cool. It's like a scoring shield. Creates a boost of scoring. Oh, it's a scoring speed. Okay, I gotcha. Alright, so those are the changes, the updates and everything. So exciting. I am very excited for this, like, to see how the meta changes for all these changes. Back to the question of the day. What changes do you like the most in this patch? Let me know in the comments down below, or even the one you think that's going to be the most meta defining. It's always great to start discussion. I always love reading your insights and everything like that, so feel free to let me know. If you'd like more Pokemon Unite news, guides, gameplays and such, feel free to subscribe and click the bell. I'm also so close to 100k, so it'd be really cool if I could get there. If you could help me, I'd really appreciate it. Liking the video would really help my channel out. Thank you so much for watching, trainers. Bye!